ஆமா, ஐஸ்வர்யா லைன்ல இருக்காங்க. உள்ள ஜாயின் பண்ண விடுங்க.
There is no queue, Jay. She can just join directly.
பாஸ்வேர்ட் எதனா இருக்காரா?
இல்லங்க ஜெய். இல்ல ஜெய், நோ பாஸ்வேர்ட்.
பூங்கொடி இருக்காங்களா உள்ள?
No, I don't see her.
இருக்கேன் ஜெய்.
வணக்கம் பூங்கொடி. செந்தில் இருக்காருங்களா? செந்தில், கருப்பண்ணன், ராம்கி யாரா இருக்காங்களா?
ஜெய் கேக்குதா?
வாங்க ஐஸ்வர்யா, வீடியோல வந்துருங்க.
ஓகே.
This is good. Okay. Whenever you are ready. ஐஸ்வர்யா, நீங்க ரெடியா இருக்கீங்களா? அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு பேசுங்க.
ஜெய் கேக்குதா?
கேக்குதுங்க. உங்க வீடியோ this is good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
உங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் இன்டர்நெட் பிரச்சனை.
Good. Okay. I just wanted to confirm the audience is Tamil, non-Tamil, English.
என்ன क्वेश्चन கேக்குறீங்க?
Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
கேக்குதா நான் பேசுறது?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just wanted to check the audience, the language is going to be in English, right?
Yeah.
We have a mixed set of audience or it's only Tamil?
உங்க வாய்ஸ் கம்ப்ளீட்டா பிரேக் ஆயிடுச்சு.
Oh, கேக்கலையா?
Jay, can we go ahead and start the program, please?
Yeah, one sec.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
நீங்க வீடியோல வர முடியாம பேசுனீங்கன்னா maybe like you can வீடியோ ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு நீங்க பேசுங்க, அப்ப கரெக்ட்டா வருதுன்னு பார்க்கலாம். Yeah, let's start the program.
Okay. Let me stop the video so that the bandwidth is better for the audio quality. Is it better now? Okay. Event. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing good amidst this pandemic and everything going around. But it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and I'm so glad to be here to be the MC for today's event organized by GATS, Greater Atlanta Tamil Sangam, for Paths to Your Dream Job. My name is Aishwarya Sridharan, and I'm a technology product professional. I've been here in Atlanta for over 14 years now, and then I live with my family here. A very big thanks to Greater Atlanta Tamil Sangam for this opportunity, and I'm sure this is going to be a very, very interesting session for everyone, and lots of information is going to be shared today and many benefits to be reaped out of it. So I'm sure everybody is ready to soak it all in and get more information out of this event. So on behalf of GATS team, I would really like to welcome all the aspiring students and the panelists today who's going to share a wealth load of information here and their expertise towards finding your dream job and paths to a dream job, defining your paths to success. That's into today. And I'm sure everyone wants to be in this successful path, especially, young adults and students, high school kids or kids who are in college who wants to know how to kickstart their career, how to be into a right internship, first of all, to find a right path and to stay on track of it, right? That's the key to everyone's defining success for everyone's life. So whatever may be your background, be it science or engineering, law, medical, whatever it is, I'm sure we have a good list of subject matter expertise in here. And I think we can begin our afternoon session today. But before we get into the session, I would like to invite Ramya to share her information on sustainability. Being in this year 2020, we all realize what's the value of going green, and recycle, reuse, everything has been a mantra for everyone, and we need to practice that in our household as well. So Ramya Shivakumar, who works as a building performance specialist and a sustainability consultant for a deep green engineering firm, Integral Consulting Engineers. And she's going to give us some information about sustainability and go green path here. Her job involves helping
Is that me only hearing that like that? The voice is completely breaking, Aishwarya.
UGA, Microsoft, to set sustainability guidelines and construct zero energy buildings, including the recent. Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I turned off the video so that I thought it would help everyone. Ramya, if you are on inputs about the sustainability and the practices that you follow. And also joining Ramya will be Sharavati Vijay, a rising 7th grader at Piney Grove Middle School. And Shara is very passionate about keeping the earth a great, healthy, green place. She's also a student of Alfreda Tamil School. So let's welcome Ramya and Sharavati to give some tips about sustainability to all the audience here. Ramya, can you go ahead and...
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can.
Have I been unmuted? Just checking.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
audible, Ramya. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So thank you, Aishwarya, for that introduction. I would like to thank the Greater Atlanta Tamil Sangam for giving me this platform to talk about how we, as a community, have a responsibility towards the resources we consume. Big changes are happening around the world. Companies like Microsoft plan to go carbon negative by 2030 and have pledged $1 billion climate innovation fund. Organizations around the world are implementing corporate sustainability within their organizations to mitigate climate change and increase business resiliency. More and more companies today look for candidates that are the right fit for their company culture. It is becoming increasingly important for people to understand these concepts and how their actions impact the world. For the last 1 year, the Tamil Sangam has been making small changes. This involves switching to compostable plates and cutlery, not using bottled water during their big events like Diwali and Pongal. So typically during these events, 1,000 to 1,200 bottled water would be trashed at these events. Some of them with almost half a bottle of clean water still inside. Through bring your own bottle campaigns, water cans and paper cups, we reduced the waste generated during such events. This resulted in only 300 cups being trashed in one of these events. This is a huge saving in terms of the waste that goes to landfills, embodied energy to produce these resources, including clean water. As a community, it is time for us to take a step forward with our commitment to promote healthy and resilient environment. I'm happy to introduce Shara, who will talk more about our plans for continued education and awareness within the community.
Hi everyone, my name is Shara Vijay and I am a rising 7th grader at Piney Grove Middle School. I am also a student at the Alfreda Tamil School. I met Ms. Ramya at the GATS Diwali event last year and expressed my interest in helping the Tamil Sangam make green changes. We are happy to announce the segment GATS Green Tip in GATS weekly newsletter. Once a month, we will provide a green tip in the newsletter that people in the Tamil community can implement in their life. Through this outreach, we hope to provide a continuous awareness which is not restricted to 3 or 4 events in a year. We refer to Tamil as Tamil Thai. It is this language that helps us verbalize our first reactions to this beautiful earth. However, there is another mother that bears us and provides for us until our last breath, Mother Earth. We have a responsibility to both of our mothers to protect and nurture them. Our first tip for the month of July is to place a bowl of water or a plate with water and stones to help the birds, bees, and butterflies. This plate of water will go a long way in supporting the ecosystem in your backyard. Thank you.
That was very, very great information. Thank you for sharing with us, both Ramya and Sharavati. I know a little goes a long way, and the more and more we practice all this greenery and sustainability practices, I'm sure it's going to bring a lot of benefits to the future generations here. So thank you so much for that. And moving on to our main event, Paths to the Landing Your Dream Job, I'll take a moment to introduce our the great list of speakers that we have today. So Taruni Jayaraman, who is a litigation associate, is here with us. Harvin Valabenini, who is an incoming consultant at Bain & Company. We have Sonia Gupta, who's a data analyst and sales consultant with Cox Automotive. And we have Raja Selvakumar, who is a data scientist at Aspen Tech. We have Akshaya Vijay Kumar, who is a tech portfolio analyst at Warner Media. We have Karthik Naidan, who is a resident physician and hospital for special surgery. Anjali Kumar, who is a clinical researcher at Emory. Anita Rajaraman, who is a process improvement lead at Pepsi Company. And we have Adarsh Suresh, who is a software engineer with Amazon. And also we have today Anirudh Tadakni, who is an aerospace engineer, and Joel Josh, who is a software engineer with Amazon. We have an extremely varied list of speakers and panelists here with us today. So who are ready to share all the information that we need and all the young kids that we have within our Greater Atlanta community to get most benefit out of it. So without further ado, we can start with the Paths to Dream Job. And I would like to have Mr. Mahendran, who is the GATS EC team person, to give us a welcome speech. Mahendran is a photographer, volunteer, and he's a part of current GATS 2020 Executive Committee. He works in Home Depot as a senior application manager, and he hails from Chennai. So Mahendran, if you could give us a welcome speech to the A1, that would be great.
Hi, Aishwarya. Nice to see you again. அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பெயர் மகேந்திரன். 2020ஆம் ஆண்டு கிரேட்டர் அட்லாண்டா தமிழ் சங்கத்தில் செயற்குழு உறுப்பினராக இருக்கிறேன். கேட்ஸின் இந்த பாத் டு லேண்டிங் யுவர் ட்ரீம் ஜாப் என்ற நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு உங்களை வரவேற்பதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. பள்ளி கல்லூரி அறை கண்ட அட்லாண்டாவின் இளம் பாதங்கள் தங்கள் கனவுகளை நோக்கி எடுத்து வைக்கும் முதல் அடிக்கு ஒரு சிறு வெளிச்சமாக கேட்ஸின் இந்த முயற்சி இருக்கட்டும். தேடல்கள் பல, போட்டிகள் பல, முயற்சிகள் பல, கனவுகள் பல. அதுபோல் இங்கு நமக்கு வழிகாட்டிகளும் பல. வெற்றிக்கு வழிகாட்ட வெற்றி அடைந்த சில இளம் வழிகாட்டிகளை ஒன்றிணைத்திருக்கிறோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் பங்கு பெற வந்திருக்கும் திரு தேவி செல்வகுமார், இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் காலேஜ் கவுன்சிலர் அவர்களுக்கும், வெவ்வேறு நிறுவனங்களில் வெவ்வேறு துறைகளில் சாதித்து கொண்டிருக்கும் நமது இளைய வெற்றியாளர்களுக்கும் அனைவருக்கும் எனது வணக்கங்கள். வாழ்த்து கூற வாய்ப்பு தந்த கேட்ஸுக்கு மிக்க நன்றி. ஐஸ்வர்யா. ஐஸ்வர்யா.
Okay, can you hear me now? I think it goes to mute option automatically when someone talks, I believe. Okay, thank you so much for the welcome speech, Mahendran. As you said, we have a very varied list of subject matter expertise here who's ready to give all the information that today's young adults need. Now I'd like to have Devi Selvakumar, who's an independent college counselor who helps high school kids with 4-year high school course planning and also prepare for SAT and ACT to create leadership and volunteer opportunities as well. and she helps with service projects and college admission process as well. So Devi Selvakumar, the floor is all yours. We are really looking forward to this event today.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to welcome all our panelists over here. But for the delay, I will tell you how we are going to do the segment. It's divided into 3 parts. The first part, the panelists are going to introduce themselves. And then the second part is going to be a panel discussion where the panelists will be answering the questions posted by the moderator. And the third part is going to be the Q&A session where the panelists will be answering questions from the audience. Let me go ahead and call the panelists.
Hey, Devi, is it possible for me to give one information, like parents or kids who are all in the call, if they can share their questions in the chat session, it would be easy for us to collect it and then have a Q&A at the end of the session.
Wonderful, thank you. Anita?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anita. I graduated from UGA in 2017. I currently work for PepsiCo. I've been working for them since I graduated. I've had a couple of different roles with the company, but currently I'm a process improvement lead based out of Chicago.
Thank you, Anita. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
Adarsh?
Hey guys, I'm Adarsh. I graduated from Georgia Tech in 2018 with a degree in computer science, and I'm currently a software engineer at Amazon, and I'm based out of Seattle.
Welcome Adarsh to the panel. Anjali?
Hi, I'm Anjali. I graduated from UGA in 2016 with a double major in biology and health promotion behavior. Then I did a master's in public health at Boston University, and I've been working as a clinical researcher at Emory University, but I will be starting a PhD in epidemiology at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Thanks.
Welcome to the panel, Anjali. Karthik? Rather, I would call Dr. Karthik.
Oh, no. I'm Karthik. I graduated from Georgia Tech in 2015, did biomedical engineering, and then I just finished med school at Stanford a couple months ago and started my residency in New York in orthopedic surgery.
Welcome to the panel, Karthik.
Thanks.
Sonia?
Hi, I'm Sonia. I graduated from Stanford in 2019 with a BA in economics and a minor in international relations. And I currently work as a data analyst and sales consultant at Cox Automotive, based out of Atlanta.
Welcome to the panel, Sonia. Raja.
Hi, my name is Raja Selvakumar. I graduated from MIT in 2017 with the BS in chemical engineering, and then from Berkeley in 2018 with the master's also in chemical engineering. Currently, I'm a data scientist at AspenTech based out of Houston, Texas. Thank you.
Welcome to the panel, Raja.
Thanks, Mom.
Hi, Akshaya.
Hi, everyone. My name is Akshaya Vijaykumar. I graduated from Georgia State University in 2019 with a dual degree in computer information systems and marketing. I currently work here in Atlanta at Warner Media as a tech portfolio analyst.
Welcome to the panel, Akshaya. Anirudh?
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Anirudh Taranki. I graduated Georgia Tech last year with a master's in aerospace, and I work at Ball Aerospace based out of Boulder, Colorado.
Welcome to the panel, Anirudh. Taruni?
Hi, everyone. I'm Taruni. I graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 2011. And then I did law school and a master's in public policy at Harvard, graduated in 2016. And I've been working as an attorney at a law firm in Washington, D.C. since then.
Welcome to the panel, Taruni. Joel?
Hey everyone, I'm Joel. I'm a recent graduate from Georgia Tech with a bachelor's in computer science, and I'll be starting my job at Amazon as a software development engineer soon.
Welcome to the panel, Joel.
Thank you.
Harvin.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I went to Boston University, like Anjali, did biomedical engineering there and worked in technology consulting at Accenture. Recently just completed my MBA. I went to Kellogg at Northwestern and will be starting at Bain in management consulting in December. Great to meet everyone.
Welcome to the panel, Harvin. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so welcome you all, and let's move on to the next session, which is the panel discussion, where I'm going to ask question and the panelists will be answering, and they will be sharing their experiences with us. Can you tell me, I think this everybody can tell, and those who are going to start their work new, congratulations. And can you please share with us, what does a typical workday look like for you?
I can start. So currently I work as a data scientist. So that means that I have a 9-to-5 job from Monday through Friday. I go to the office and it's as one can imagine, a typical cubicle life with 2 monitors and 1 computer. But that was pre-pandemic, so things have definitely changed now. So now what that means is I spend more time working outside of working hours and sometimes on weekends, depending on the nature of my work.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I can go. This is Akshaya. So again, very similar to Raja, typical 9-to-5 job. A lot of my work has to deal with sitting in on meetings. So half of it has to do with vendor discovery and evaluations, sitting in on deal negotiation meetings, going back and evaluating it and allocating our financial allocations, whether it be for brands or just planning out our strategy for our company's portfolio.
Wonderful. Can we get 2 more or responses?
Yeah, it's Anirudh. I can go too. So I'm an aerospace engineer, and so my company builds satellites. A typical day, I'm pretty much behind a computer doing code, but over the life cycle of the program, you'll have to build at some point. So the closer we get to delivery of the satellite, we go through what's called integration and testing, which means you're in a clean room, building the satellite, making sure everything runs okay. So hopefully I'll do that soon.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Let's move on to the next question. How quickly did you adjust to the professional life after college? What were the challenges?
So I can jump in on this since I was in school for a good bit before getting into the workplace and did take a little bit of an adjustment. But one of the first things I learned was that expectations in the workforce are very different than in school, especially for certain disciplines where you're kind of pushed pretty hard in school to do all that you can. It's important to pace yourself in a work life and really use your time and resources a little bit more spread out than you might have in a school setting.
Okay, wonderful.
I can also speak on this a little. Since I kind of just graduated from college, I'm still adjusting a little, but I think I agree in that it's interesting going from college where you have kind of a more flexible schedule to going to something that might be like a 9-to-5 job, primarily because you'll be kind of required to maintain a lot of focus and a lot of productivity for long stretches of time. So that can take a lot of adjustment, but I think like with a little bit of practice and doing internships, you can get a lot of experience on how to like pace your work and set attainable goals like throughout the days and throughout the weeks to kind of help you through that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
I can add to this. I think a few things that come to mind. First is the very tangible aspects. There's a lot of bureaucracy and kind of things you never had to do in college. For example, learning how to navigate Outlook, send calendar invites, were things that I never did in college. And just learning that level of bureaucracy was a big adjustment. And that was something that internships really helped me figure out. I think at a more higher level, one thing that I really had to learn when I was in the workforce was really advocating for yourself, like keeping your manager up to date on what you're working on. When you're in college, you're very much like an independent, working on your own activities. But when you're with a combination, or with a company or with a team, you have to really let people know what you're working, what your accomplishments are, so that when you're at the end of the year, people will advocate for you. And that's a completely different mindset than when you're just in college, kind of going out your day-to-day activities.
Great, thank you, Harvin. So basically what I'm understanding is taking more responsibilities and moving from student to a professional. That means, taking a lot of responsibilities. Awesome. Now let's move on to the third question. Now, did your expectation for the college match the reality?
Yeah, I can answer that. So I think going into college, you think of it kind of like a little bit like high school, but with more freedom and maybe like more fun. And I think while that is a big aspect of college, if you're planning on going somewhere, like Georgia Tech, I went to Stanford, just like any elite institution, a lot of it is putting in a lot of hard work. So I'd say that's kind of the biggest discrepancy, at least for me, between college and high school that I didn't expect, was that at college, you just have a lot more work and you have a longer time to do it. But it's very different than the school mindset where you have like a little bit of homework due every day. Instead, you have like problem sets, or you might have midterm exams or finals. And it's up to you to be constantly studying because nobody's going to tell you to do that. And there's not really a daily tracker to make sure that you're on track with your education because you just don't have as many assignments or as many tests as there are in school.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sania.
I can add to that. I think that's a great point. I think something else is that just in terms of career planning and internships and research and things like that, in high school, I think there's a lot more guidance and more individual guidance about what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, who you should talk to. I think in college, it's very easy to sort of get lost in the mass of students that are there. So you have to really take it upon yourself to go and seek out these like extracurricular activities outside of the classroom. Definitely on what Sonia said in terms of classwork as well. But that's just something that I think a lot of us probably did not understand until we got there and had to do it for ourselves.
I can add on.
Yes.
So yeah, I think college is a really great opportunity to meet a diverse group of people and explore interests that you may have been interested in high school. There's so many organizations and so many clubs to get involved in. So highly recommend doing that once you get to college and expanding your horizons. But yeah, college definitely matched the expectation. It's definitely stressful at times having to plan for the future, but I think it's a really great experience to just learn new things overall.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anita. Okay, let's move on. So according to a 2017 survey conducted by the National Association of College and Employers, over 75% of the employers look for job applicants with hands-on skills in teamwork, problem solving, and communication. Colleges have tons of this, skill building opportunities to help the students launch in their successful careers. Now, can you please share some of your experiences here? So let's start with the cooperative education. That is the co-op, where students alternate paid professional experiences with coursework, take classes for one semester, work full-time for one semester, and then repeat. Do you, has anyone participated in this? And then can you please share your experience?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I co-opted at Cisco in my first 2 years of my undergrad. So like Deviante was saying, I was alternating between school and work. And I found that really helped me develop kind of the soft skills that everyone was talking about with like handling meetings and growing your professional kind of skill set. And it wasn't really in the specific field of study that I was in. So it wasn't a computer science co-op, but it still helped me develop a lot of those skills. So I'd highly recommend it. It may delay your graduation, but I think it's well worth the investment of your time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adarsh. Okay, that's kind of a unique experience, right? I mean, when you alternate between college and at the same time, you are definitely getting the experience of being a professional. So you are definitely getting ready for your next step in life. That's wonderful. Now, externship. So this is, like you can take an externship over spring break or get an introduction to the potential career fields. So these are basically temporary job shadowing programs that last anywhere from just one afternoon to a few weeks. Has anyone participated in externship program in your college?
Yes, so I can answer that. So for those who don't know about MIT's, how the year goes, basically it's a semester system. And then in January, we have this period called IAP, Independent Activities Period, where you're allowed to do anything you want. You can go home, you can do an externship, you can do research, you can do anything that you like. So in my 4 years, one of the years I actually had an externship at NASA for being a systems engineer. And while that didn't translate with what I was studying for my major or what I'm working professionally right now, again, like Adarsh was saying, it was a great opportunity just to see, first of all, understand kind of, I think Harvin made the point earlier about bureaucracy inside, a company or an institution, but then also how that institution functions and what type of work they do. But then also it gave me an opportunity to see what other like-minded people like myself were taking that opportunity for. And then you can make those connections amongst your peers and classmates, which still resonates to even today. So that was definitely an important time, even though it was 1 month. You would think that, okay, maybe I can't accomplish that much professionally or for a resume, but for your own personal satisfaction and from a perspective of making connections, and then also understanding, just if you were to think along those career paths, then you can at least say for yourself, hey, I tried this works or doesn't work for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Raja.
To piggyback on that, I think the value to me of externships and internships isn't so much about building like the perfect resume, but it's about trying out different things to figure out what actually interests you. You think something is from like classroom or books and movies and what it actually ends up being in practice. And I think it's really useful to avail of all the opportunities to try things practically. So for example, when I was in law school, I spent one January interning at the Attorney General of Kentucky's office. And before that, I was like, oh, lawyers do this and lawyers do that. But until I actually sat at a computer, drafted motions, drafted briefs, I didn't know what it looked like. And once I went through that, I understood it and said, okay, this is actually what I want to do. So I would just encourage people to use externships and internships to actually try things out that you might be interested in. It's kind of low stakes, right? It's like a couple of weeks, couple of months, you try it out, works out great. If not, you can move to something else. And to view it as like an exploration period and not like, I checked off this on my resume, this on my resume, this on my resume, because I don't really see a ton of value in approaching it that way.
Thank you, Tarini, for your insight. So it's more than just filling up your resume, but you need to go out and explore and try to get that experience. And in order to get ready for your job or like even in the school itself, this may be of big useful thing for you. Thanks for sharing that insight. Okay, here we go. The famous internship. So the internship, like this can be either paid or non-paid, unpaid, and it gives you the opportunity to work for a company or for a non-profit organization for a limited amount of time. Can you please share your internship experience?
Yeah, so I'll share. So for me, I was studying economics at Stanford, And I originally thought I wanted to go into something more like finance/investment related. And so I spent a couple of summers in wealth management and in investment and asset management with a startup in the Bay Area and with JP Morgan, which was a bigger company. And I think just like piggybacking off of what Tharuni said, it's not just about resume experience or being able to like check a box. For me, it taught me a couple of different things. So one was how to function in a corporate environment, because it's so different than how things operate at school. Like you have a boss, you have deadlines. It's just like a different work environment. And that was something I was really able to translate to my current job, even though I now work as a data analyst and a consultant doing completely different things than I did before. And then another aspect was also being able to figure out like what someone in wealth management or finance does, and realizing that I didn't really want to do that, which I think was so important to be able to figure out before I actually committed to a full-time job. And even like with internships before college, like my sister Nikita, she's in high school right now and she's doing a software engineering internship as a developer. And so I think just like the earlier you can start, the better it is to be able to figure out what your interests are and kind of what field you want to enter when you do end up committing full-time.
Thank you, Sonia. That is really great to hear that.
Yeah, I can add on to that. So just kind of echoing what she said, I definitely think internships are great because it gives you a feel for what a job may look like without having to commit completely first. So I studied supply chain management, but I actually changed to that major halfway through college. So when I first switched, I wasn't totally sure what opportunities were out there. So when I interned with PepsiCo as well before I started full-time. And that internship, as well as my full-time role, was actually in manufacturing. So that was really unique and a really unique experience for me, because manufacturing isn't something that everyone gets to experience. And it's a very hands-on type field and gives you a very good look at how things progress from start to finish. So, you know, that was I really enjoyed being able to like intern in that kind of field and decide if that was right for me.
Thank you, Anita.
And kind of just jumping in here, I feel like the variety of experiences we're talking about also can help you build something going forward. For me personally, I've had a lot of bench research in the biosciences, but also clinical research working with patients. And those have come together in the field of public health through epidemiology for me personally. But all of that has been research in general. So I think even if you're interested in a certain field and you know that you want to be in that, having different skill sets are really helpful.
Thank you, Anjali.
I also want to quickly, you can go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Another aspect, I guess, kind of just piggybacking on what everyone else also mentioned, you know, just it's very helpful to go ahead and gain that industry experience before you enter the workplace. Another big takeaway for me was being able to shadow executives and people in higher, you know, positions before you kind of reach that part of your life. And I think what I gained from that was a set of great mentors that have helped me kind of get to where I am today. So being able to, you know, build your network from a younger age, I think is very valuable.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful point. Building your network and you know, like adding up everything, you know, like without commitment. Those are all beautiful things that we need to learn from, you know, like the internships. Yes, Joel?
Yeah, what I was going to say is along that line, I think one of the things that I really gained from my internship is, aside from just like the technical skills and the practice related to my field alone, especially growing up, I was kind of more introverted and a little bit more timid, especially when trying to speak out in situations where I wasn't as comfortable. So doing an internship definitely gets you warmed up to the corporate environment. And luckily I was given a lot of opportunities in my various internships at Honeywell and Amazon to really pitch my ideas to a lot of the higher executives, depending on what projects I was working on. And it was relatively well received. So I think that helped me kind of get more comfortable speaking out and generally projecting myself as more of somebody who is confident in their own skills and abilities. So even like a lot of your soft skills development can really benefit from trying to do different internships in different domains and different types of fields.
Beautifully said, Joel.
Thanks. Auntie, if I can add one thing, internships were super influential to my development. I started off in biomedical engineering, and most of my work experience was in working in a lab, and internships actually convinced me to go into business and ultimately go to business school. I think one note I would add is I encourage people to be creative on how they approach and the timing of their internships. People always think that your internship has to be in the summer of between your school years. And traditionally that is when most people do their internships. But I think there's a lot of opportunities for you to get internships in other periods. For example, I really wanted a job to just pay bills and pay for my food in college. And I wanted to look for a work study, but I ended up getting an internship at Philips Healthcare. Ended up working on really cool projects throughout the school year and work throughout the school year. And that wasn't a typical internship timeline, but it was something where I got really good experience, got exposure to something I was interested in, and also made money over the school year. Even now, I don't start till my new job at Bain after business school till December. And I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to get another internship. So here I am, I'm like 20 years old. I just reached out to get another internship, and it's totally easy. I was really interested in the automotive space, and I reached out to a bunch of automotive companies in the Atlanta area and ended up getting an internship like that. Exactly what we talked about earlier, as a way for me to build my network in that space, see if this is a space I really want to work in. So I think especially in the COVID time right now, before you start school or you have these gaps that you have to really think about reaching out and offering your skills as an intern, because I think you'll be surprised how many people will want help.
That is really great to hear, Harvin. Okay.
Yeah, let me chime in and then we can probably move on. So getting an internship, I think, is probably harder than succeeding in one. I think like your first internship is probably like a chicken and egg, where like you need experience to get one, but like you don't get one, you don't get experience till you have your internship. The first thing I'll say is it's not a competition, as much as it may seem like it. When you're in undergrad, like it seems like all your friends might be getting internships and you feel left out in the dust. Don't feel that way. That being said, there's no denying that the internship does add value to your resume when you're looking for a full-time job. I can only speak for myself in aerospace, but I found that doing research with professors is a good way to network, because normally they have industry connections, and that's better than throwing your resume into a black box of online applications.
That's a great insight, Anirudh. Great. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. That's the leadership training. This training can happen informally through your involvement with the campus organizations, and many colleges have dedicated leadership centers to train and mentor students. What kind of leadership activities have you, involved you're involved in college? And can you please share your experience on that?
Yeah, I can speak on that. So in college, I was actively involved in our student government association all of college. So I had different roles within that. So I had a mentoring role where I mentored incoming freshmen. And then I was also on an executive committee where I kind of helped handle finances for a certain department. So that was a really good way for me to, same way as internships, kind of build your network, get to know people, and get experience in various things that are outside what you may be majoring in. And I was also part of something at UGA called the Arch Society, where I was essentially like an ambassador for the university. And that was really great experience in sort of not only building my network, but being able to learn different things about the university. The more people you meet and the more involved you get, you can learn a lot more about what your college has to offer. So leadership positions can be really helpful in that.
Yeah, I can pitch in as well. I did a lot of my leadership through service organizations, like community service, volunteering throughout Atlanta and also on campus. And I think that was a great way to sort of be able to give back to the community and also participate in leadership opportunities as well, and sort of grow yourself both as a contributing member to the community and also as a leader. And then another unique thing that I did was I was in a fraternity, and this can apply to any sort of social organization, but you can also have leadership positions in that if you're in a a music group or a dance group or basically any sort of organization where you're going to be with a lot of your friends, it's a great chance to learn how to be a leader among your peers.
Thank you, Karthik. So looks like it's
Ram, are we facing any internet issue? We're not able to hear Devi voice.
Yeah, no, we are not having any technical issues.
Okay. Devi, are you there? Hi, Devi, are you there? I think she got dropped, is it?
Yeah, I think she just left.
Okay. So let her connect back. Like, see that.
Raja, you can take over.
Okay. You want me to take over? Okay. Okay, I got the confirmation. Okay. Alrighty. So let's see where we were. So we just talked about leadership training. Did anyone else have anything to offer on leadership in general? Any specific programs you were a part of?
Hey, Raja, one quick note. I wanted to say I helped out with recruiting at Accenture, and a lot of time we've been talking about how important internship experience is and how hard it is to get those. I think as someone on the recruiting side, full-time offers, they obviously would love to see internship experience, but this is a really good way for you to really show out on your resume in a way that's very unique to yourself, right? So they want to see that you have some leadership experience, even when you're recruiting for a full-time job, kind of like undergrad colleges want to see as well. But it can be anything you want. It can be a fraternity, it can be a social service organization, it can be student government. They just want to see that you're involved in something on campus and doing something like that. So whatever it is for you, I think I just encourage you to lean in on that while you're on campus.
Yeah, cool. I think that's really helpful for people to know that you don't need to be part of, a particular organization, A, B, or C, but in general that the nice thing about college is that there's a diversity of groups that if you're just a part of, it's not as, I would say, as linear as, say, if you're applying to college where you have certain, student government positions or clubs that you need to be a part of in high school that'll kind of stack for your resume. But from what you're saying, it seems like, and adding on to what others were saying, that you don't need to have that going forward. So that's good. All right. So I think the next question my mom would have asked is, does anyone have any research experiences that you'd like to share? This could be during the summer, during the school year. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I can start off with this since my career is research, but
Great.
I went to UGA on a research scholarship, and I think that just set me up really well to do research very early because it helps you figure out, do you actually enjoy this or not? Do you enjoy what you're learning in class in an application mode? So I always encourage people to get into research as early as you can. It's not always easy, but exploring different options, different parts of a field are really helpful to kind of steer you in whatever direction you really will end up in later.
Great, thank you.
I can speak a little bit. So I didn't have like a full formal research experience, but at Georgia Tech, they have a program called VIP, which is kind of like a class formatted introduction to research kind of like a research kind of role. So I was able to work a little bit with that. And I think like at least for computer science, a lot of people tend to focus on internships and like professional roles as like their primary kind of way of learning about the field. But for me, I found that like doing some kind of like computer science related research was very interesting, primarily because I was able to work in kind of a more robotics type of field where I was able to see like more mathematical concepts and algorithms like applied in a more physical format than I'm used to. Since I spent a lot of time like working on software, working on that research experience was interesting to see like a lot more theoretical knowledge be applied in ways that you don't typically see in industry. So that can be like a very interesting experience in the sense that you'll get something that you'll get experience in a domain that you may not be, that you may not see anywhere else.
Awesome, thanks.
I can add to that a little bit. So I didn't really have a true kind of lab role at Georgia Tech, but I tried to volunteer some of my time to some of the biology labs on campus, just to kind of get some exposure, and I had interest in it as well. So I could volunteer some of my time helping them with some like Android app development and things like that, but also get back time with being able to read papers with them and learn more about some of the topics that they were working on. So I think it was just good experience for me to try to reach out to labs.
Yeah, I can pitch in as well. I worked in a basic science lab for 2 years at Tech, and I think at least for people interested in medicine, I think it's a really important experience to have to sort of understand more mechanistically how things are discovered and how to read scientific papers and how to critically look at scientific studies that come out. Just in general, if you're going to go into any sort of research-oriented field within any specialty, it's good to get some sort of research experience, whether it's in a lab or in like a clinical group or in an engineering lab or anything like that. I think it's a really valuable experience. You also get to meet graduate students who are potentially in a position where you'd like to be in a few years, professors who are in a position where you'd like to be in 10 to 15 years. And so it's really great mentorship. There's also even a lot of times there's older students who are maybe applying to a job or a graduate school or professional school that you would like to go to eventually. So you have like different levels of mentorship from the professor all the way down to like a third or fourth year college student that can kind of help guide your process of getting to wherever you want to go.
Awesome. So from compiling all your answers, it sounds like a lot of it shares similarities with internships, but there's also that element of if you're going towards a research specific field, or if your final profession, wherever it may be, ends up being tangential to the research that you do, that it's important to kind of build upon the research experiences you've already had in some way. So that's great. All right, so let's move to the next question. So during college, did any of you guys find time to do volunteering? Were you part of any organizations, or did you find things on your own? Can you guys talk about any experiences you had there?
Yeah, so
go ahead.
When I think like Stanford, and I'm sure a lot of other colleges and universities really encourage their students to volunteer. And when I went to college, I kind of knew that I had a passion for education and I wanted to be able to help other students in that. And so usually like a couple of times a week, there was a couple of like organizations on campus, and I would go and I would tutor students in low-income communities and help them out with their homework and that sort of thing. And then even when I came back to Atlanta, there was a gap like between the summer and between my job. And so I took that opportunity to volunteer with Kumon, and again, like helping students to learn and just like helping with their educational development. And I think volunteering is so important, not just because, again, like it's not just something to put on your resume or something you do to fill the time. But for me, it also had the added benefit of, first, you get a lot of leadership experience and a lot of experience working with other people and as part of a team, which can very well translate to like a full-time job or an internship. And then of course, there's the added benefit of being able to help people in a field that you're passionate about. And so for me, it was just really rewarding to be able to go out and help kids that were kind of like maybe I once was, where I would have loved to have someone older helping me out. And it also just made me more aware of my privileges and of kind of like what I'm trying to do in terms of my job and what I hope to do positively in terms of impacting my community on a positive scale.
Great,
Awesome.
Sonia. Thank you, Raja, for stepping in. So sorry that my, like computer got a little bit, like there was a problem and I couldn't join. But thank you, Raja, for stepping in. And anybody else?
Yeah, I can go. So as someone who was trying to enter the tech space, I truly believed in paying it forward with an organization that was kind of had a special place in my heart. So I would volunteer with Girls Who Code, and I would help with, we would be paired with different organizations within Atlanta or within a company or within a university in Georgia. So with Georgia State, we'd be paired up with companies locally around us, and we would help mentor and teach girls who were in high school. They'd spend a couple of weeks of their summer learning how to code and kind of figuring out the lay of the land in a corporate environment and how they would impact the organization. So
yeah, great to hear that, Akshaya.
I think volunteering also gives you a great way to have real world experience if you're able to engage with the community that you're around. So especially going to UGA, Athens is a community with a lot of different health disparities and a lot of disparities in general, not just health. And I found that was a way to actually see what's going on and understand different factors. And that pushed me a little bit more, I think, towards public health, to have the knowledge of, oh, this is what I'm studying in class. This is actually what's happening in the world right now. And it's in the same city that I live in.
Wonderful.
I'd like to add one thing if we have time. So I was part of a volunteering organization within my school from the Priscilla King Gray Center from MIT. And this partnered us with any organizations that we'd like to. I particularly was interested in kind of a combination of what Sonia and Anjali mentioned in terms of education, but also knowing more about my community around me. So in that vein, there was a school in inner Boston that was completely like night and day in terms of Cambridge, where MIT and Harvard and other prestigious schools are, versus inner Boston, where the community is completely different. And you can, and I was a tutor there for the high school graduation test that those kids have to take just to graduate high school. And when I went there every Saturday, the conversation from my perspective was, first to make sure that the kids were okay, from their family situation, then also, their health, mental health situations in school, to even convincing them to graduate high school and think about college as an important option. So I think this is an undervalued, this won't show up on any resume or may not ever translate to the corporate workplace, but this is something that to me was very powerful for me to understand that that these type of that these communities exist, and that there are ways that we can reach out to them, just by taking that first step. So yeah, again, just to add to the general conversation about volunteering is very important.
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, the beautiful thing is, I can't imagine how, I remember seeing all of you as little kids, and so it's from, and you are talking about learning and then understanding the society, trying to combine your subject knowledge with your outside experience. This is a part of growing as a responsible adult. And so I'm so glad to hear you all have done a wonderful work. And there are a lot of things that you all have learned. And once again, thank you for sharing all your experiences with us. Now we are moving to the very interesting part, that is a study abroad program. Colleges with robust study abroad programs help facilitate this, the academic and cultural experiences. Has anyone participated in the study abroad program, and can you share your experience here?
Yeah, I can talk about that. I studied abroad in London for a semester at school. So it's an exchange program where I was basically just admitted as a student at that university for the semester. It was a really good experience for me because it was a liberal arts school as compared to the technical school I was at with Georgia Tech. So you're meeting a lot of people with completely different fields of studies and different ways of thinking. And I think that exposure really helps you grow as a person. And also the different education styles. So of course, like different countries and different universities are going to have different ways of leading lectures and expectations for your exams and everything. So I think that really helps you grow to get those varied experiences at different schools.
That's really great to hear, Adarsh.
So I didn't study abroad, but I spent a semester working and taking classes in Washington, D.C. And when I did that, I basically was interning, but for 4 days a week at a political consulting firm. And that experience happened to dovetail with the 2010 midterm election. So dating myself a little bit, was my junior year. And through that, I realized, maybe I want to pursue a career in public policy or politics. So that led me, after graduating from college, to spend a year working on a political campaign. So I think even study abroad programs or semesters away from your home university can give you a chance to, again, explore things that you might be interested in, see what it practically looks like, and then make decisions moving forward for your career.
Oh, great to hear that, Dharani.
I studied abroad in Peru and took a medical took a medical Spanish course and did an internship in medicine, essentially, in Peru. And I think it was a great way to see how something is very different. The healthcare system is very different. The medical students were the same age as us, but they were going through medical school while we were still in undergrad. But also at the same time, I think it was a great way to experience how diversity in culture also can have common values. We stayed with a host family and learned that our parents liked the same things, and had really nice just bonding moments over our dads loving rice a lot. But it opens up your worldview a little bit more, obviously, because you are going to a different country, but also in terms of the diversity of people in personalities as well.
Oh, that's completely a different experience for you then. Great. Any others?
Yeah, I got to study abroad in Germany for a summer between my first and second year, which was really nice because the middle school and high school that I went to, we learned German all throughout. So it was nice to finally go and get to sort of be immersed. I think it had pretty much nothing to do with what I wanted to do in terms of medicine, but it was just really fun to go and experience it from a cultural and language standpoint. For anyone that's interested in engineering, it was a great, for the people that were going to engineering, it was a great opportunity for them to meet like German companies and be connected for internships. A couple of our students actually ended up going back and interning at some of the companies that we visited while we were there. But like everyone said, it's really very interesting to see how different education systems are and how, obviously like how other students interact with their universities while you're studying abroad at these other universities. It's a very powerful experience, even if it doesn't necessarily directly advance your career goals.
Beautiful. It sounds like a very fun experience then. Awesome. Great. Okay. Now, how and when did you all make a decision to do your postgraduate studies? Those who have done that, can you please shed us some light on that?
Yeah, so I decided to do my master's in public health. Mostly because I felt I wasn't ready to enter a workforce and wanted to continue learning, to be completely honest. I was like, I am not done with school, and have had an interesting path in the sense that after my master's, I've been working, but will be going back to school with the intention of staying in academia. But I think not exactly knowing what job you want, but knowing that you enjoy learning more isn't the worst thing in the world to decide to do more education. It obviously differs for professional schools, but I think when you're interested in a specific field, learning as much as you can in that field isn't wrong. It's not going to be a bad decision.
Wonderful. Great to hear that, Anjali.
So I made my decision to pursue graduate school the year after I graduated from college. So as I mentioned, I spent that year working on a political campaign. And I did that in Chicago and then in Florida. And when I was in Florida, I happened to see firsthand various voter suppression measures that were being taken, basically preventing people from being able to register to vote. And that's something that really annoyed me and ignited a passion in me to want to spend my career working to protect the fundamental right to vote. And I thought through, how can I actually accomplish working in that space? And the way to do that, I saw, was to go to law school and to also get a master's in public policy. So that's what I decided to do. And because I was able to get that education, now I spend about a third or a half of my practice working to protect the right to vote.
Wow, that's totally a neat experience. Awesome.
Hey, I can chime in too. So honestly, I wouldn't call my decision a choice. in aerospace, you pretty much need one to work a cool job. So it was more or less made for me. What I will say though, is a lot of schools give you the option to do like a 5-year BSMS program. And I think as someone who didn't do that, I would have done that if I could do it again. I think, at least personally, I think it's good to just get your school out of the way in one go. And I think a 5-year program doesn't look different to companies. It still shows up as a master's. And you know, you're still in the school zone, so it would be good.
Awesome. Thank you, Anirudh. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, my decision to go to med school between first and second year of college, I just realized that I really enjoyed working with people directly. I think a lot of that was through volunteering, through like through our temple and things like that. And I also really just enjoyed sort of the science behind medicine. And so I figured that was the best way to do it. A lot of people do take time between college and med school, but for me, I think I was pretty sure that's what I wanted to do. So I didn't feel like I needed to take any extra time off. But you know, that's something that you can definitely consider if you're not sure, or if you want some more time, or if you decided late and you want some more time to prepare your application, you can definitely take a year or two off. So you don't have to, you know, go into it directly.
Okay. Thank you, Karthik.
I can speak for business school. Business school is a little unique in that people don't do this immediately after undergrad. You typically, in almost most schools, will require 2 to 3 years of work experience before you're even eligible to apply. So for me, the decision came down to wanting to do a career switch. I think business school really opens a lot of doors for people to change their careers, and it's a great option. For example, I have a lot of friends in my class who started off in finance and went to tech, vice versa, tech to consulting. For me, I was working in technology consulting and really wanted to work in management consulting. So I made the decision when I was unable to do that switch without a business degree. So that's when I decided to go into business school. And it's a great option for people who don't fully want to know what they want to do, but they want to, after undergrad, they know they have a good path with a certain company, and they maybe don't like that path a few years later and they want to switch something else. So it's a really good option for that. I saw in the comments someone asked about financing for business school.
Yes.
Financing is quite challenging. There's no scholarships really, and it's pretty much most people take loans to go to business school. There are a lot of options where companies will pay for you to go to business school. So that's an interesting option that a lot of people pursue. But then you're kind of stuck with that company for a few years.
Yeah, that's right. That's you know, beautifully said.
So can I add to that question about
Please.
funding? So for master's and PhD, you can be a graduate research assistant, or you can be a teaching assistant, depending on your school. And that will cover, again, depending on the school and the program, it will cover a good deal of your tuition. And then your costs for your room and board and meals will come separately. If you're crafty enough, you'll have enough. You may have enough money saved from internships or elsewhere, but yes, it's still, there's still an out-of-pocket expense that needs to be considered when making that decision.
Thank you, Raja.
Do you guys? Oh, sorry, I was just going to add in something. I think echoing what Raja said, those research assistant positions or the TA positions are really valuable. I think when you're in graduate school, both of those have pushed me to where I am today. But you learn a lot more about how to teach a student if you're a TA while paying for it. So I highly recommend those if that's an option.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Anjali. And do you all think that the graduate program, you know, will open up more job opportunities, or you know, like this will help you to land in a better job? This is from one of the parents also. Can you personally, what do you think?
So I'm pursuing a PhD so that I can be a principal investigator and lead my own research. And I think that answers a part of the question in itself
Yes.
of opening up a different leadership ability and different role than I currently have.
Okay.
So it's definitely specific to what you end up doing in school, but I think most education does end up giving you a little bit more of a leg up in whatever field you want to be in.
Always. That's yeah. So when you work a lot, accordingly, you will be paid for that, right? That's rightly said. Okay. Now, if you all could change one thing in your college experience, what would that be? And tell us why.
Yeah, so for me, I think one thing I would change is kind of coming in with a more flexible mindset or being open to a little bit more spontaneity. So coming in, I was very focused on academics and joining these like pre-professional clubs and just really like padding my resume. And I think that's like a very high school mindset to have. Versus in college, I think it's really important to be able to be open to exploring new opportunities, or not expecting everything to follow like one certain path. And even like with small things, right? So like in my senior year, I had some friends and they were hosting an event, like an Indian event, and they needed someone to come and sing like a song for the event and kind of like lead it. And even though I didn't have experience with singing or really like with the group, I decided to go ahead and do it. And it's just like something that I really enjoyed and made a lot of friends through. And so I kind of just wish like I'd come in with more of a mindset of saying like, okay, this is not exactly like how things are going to be, and kind of just being open to experiences outside of those, which I'd already done before.
Okay. Thanks for sharing your story, Sania. Anybody else?
I guess like along a similar line, like I kind of wish I used more, I would say, of my campus's like resources when it comes to like the things that I was interested in. Like kind of similarly, when I first got into college, I was really just kind of focused on like doing the, work that I needed to do for my classes and just kind of like doing whatever clubs or applying to internships. But at least like at Georgia Tech, they have a lot of cool like maker spaces for people who are interested in like engineering. There's a lot of like 3D printers, power tools, like a lot of people who are also willing to teach you how to use these things and kind of like guide you in creation process. And I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, but like I've very much underused a lot of those resources until later on in like my college experience when it was already kind of late and I didn't really have a lot of time to make use of that. So that's definitely something that I would go back and I would try to kind of push myself to go into that kind of maker space and put myself in uncomfortable situations and ask people for help so that I would have kind of developed those skills earlier and enjoyed more of that.
That's great to hear that, Joel. Okay, anybody else?
I think, sorry, can I go?
Please.
Okay, well, I already kind of gave it away. I think I talked about the 5-year BS/MS degree. As someone who didn't do it, I think it's valuable. And I'm probably going to sound like I'm contradicting myself here, but I'd also encourage people not to rush their undergrad. As someone who did rush his undergrad, you don't get a reward for finishing in 3 years. Take the 4 years and enjoy the undergrad because that's time you won't get back. And once you're in, the workforce, that's it. You're working. So enjoy the college while you're in there, and make sure you're doing something that you enjoy while studying.
That's a great advice, Anirudh. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so what is one single advice you would give to any college student out there?
I can take this one. I'd say like, don't be afraid to like network and kind of throw yourself out into the open. I mean, what's the worst someone can say? Someone can say no, but it's always good to like try and, build your network again, see how you can gain that experience. And going back to kind of a full circle of the whole internship thing, I would say, it's so like I came into college knowing that I wanted to do something in the business field, but not until I tried different internships in different fields of business or concentrations did I know where I wanted to really end up. So I would, honestly, biggest takeaway would be don't be afraid to try like different things.
That's a great thing. Thank you, Akshaya.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, like just piggybacking off of that, I think, it's something to really keep in mind is that regardless of which institution you go to, you're not really paying for just the education, right? Because you can go to a library or you can take an online course and you can kind of get a good education anywhere. A lot of the value of a college comes from building your network and meeting new people and learning new things. And I think that's just really important to keep in mind. Like for me, when I first went in, I was very used to doing my homework by myself, and I wasn't really, like, I felt a little bit uncomfortable asking other people for help while doing problem sets or studying. And I think it's just being able to really like connect with people is something I would really recommend to anyone going into college. Just as many people as possible and ask for help when you need it, because you never know. A lot of the connections at college you make are probably going to be like lifelong friends. And that's really one of the best benefits of going to a university versus just doing like online classes.
Oh, that is a great point, Sonia. Like reaching out, like and go ahead and get help. Don't get stuck at any point. That's a beautiful point we all should note here. Anybody else on?
Yeah, I can. So yeah, I would say there's no one size fits all kind of path that you can take. So take your time at school and explore, give everything a try, and kind of find what you like and what you enjoy doing, and pursue that.
Wonderful. Okay, that is awesome. So hearing like from you about all your experiences and everything. So we are definitely going to college to get the education, but from all your experiences, what we are understanding is it's more than education. Sonia has beautifully said, you are not just paying the college just for like getting yourself educated, right? So it's more than that. You are going for your internship, you are doing your internship experience. You are going for externship, you are going for some research, you are doing some voluntary work, you are doing a co-op study abroad program. So it is more than just studying the core courses. But definitely the ultimate goal is going to be definitely getting a degree on that, and then like building up a resume more on the top of it. But like apart from that, like gaining a lot of experiences. And from all your experiences, what like I'm understanding is building up your life skills. Along with that, like whatever you are learning in college, you are trying to correlate it with the society, like how the people are reacting. Like Anjali has beautifully said, you are trying to understand how different people are and what is their culture. Oh, like my parents are not different from their moms, like their dads. So you are seeing the world, and it's a kind of, you are seeing the bigger picture, and slowly you are getting ready for your workforce. Right, like Anirudh has beautifully said, guys, go ahead and enjoy your life while you are in college. Go ahead and enjoy and try to take, explore and try to make use of good opportunities available over there. Like Joel has mentioned, go ahead and explore. Like what is available in the college, what kind of resources are available. Go ahead and get yourself educated. Even like one of you has beautifully mentioned. Hey, we are not committing for this internship experience. We are not committing for this. We are just going and trying it out and see whether this is going to work for me or not. If not, just going ahead and giving it a try. Why not? It's not going to hurt, right? I mean, there are so many valuable lessons that today, like we have learned from all your experiences. And so at this point, we are done with our questions from the panel. So at this point, we are moving on to the third section. That is the Q&A session from the audience. And I already got, is anyone going to help us with the questions posted on the YouTube or something? And
yeah,
already I have, yes.
Hey, Devi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, first of all, thank you so much for moderating this session. I mean, it's a lot of information coming across multiple kids, and it's really good to listen to all these kids share their experiences and then see how they transition from high school to college to a working professional in their life. So thank you so much for moderating this, and all the kids who are here, and I still call them as kids, being a mom of 11-year-old, but everyone who has shared their information here is really, really great. And I'm sure it would help everyone who is listening to the conversation here. So there are a couple of questions from the audience, which I would like to round. One was regarding aerospace. I know we have an aerospace engineer here. So the question that came was like, what type of opportunities did you have in high school to learn more about aerospace? Like, what made you go choose this field, or where did you get all this information from to help kickstart your career in that space? Could you share that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I wish I had a good answer for you, but the answer actually is none. The aerospace industry in particular is terrible about high school outreach or trying to get people interested at an early age. I mean, personally, I think most people that I work with like knew they were going to be aerospace engineers by the time they were in high school. And so maybe that's kind of the reason people don't bother reaching out that much. I think the best thing you can do if you or you know your kid is interested, and sorry this is boring, but like go to colleges and look at the curriculum they're teaching, because if the topics on that list don't interest you, then the major is probably not going to be fun. So do your research on schools,
right?
Do research on professors teaching the schools and what topics they research and enjoy, and I think you would have a better idea of whether you're interested in that for a career.
That was good. Like, go with the school and then see. I mean, if it actually interests you, then obviously you will learn more about it and see which schools offer, and how about the percentage rate of success in that. So yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very good answer from you. Thank you so much for that. And I believe that question was from Vishnu Reddy, and I hope he got the answer that he needed. The next one was from Hema Mohan, and the question is, how early kids will start looking for internships? Like, is it during the high school or during their college? And where do they need to look for internship? Like, if anyone is ready to share their experience or give an answer, that would be great.
Yeah, so I actually started my first internship when I was a senior in high school with Siemens in the financial planning space. So with the way I was able to find my internship was through, I was an active member and a participant of FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. So that network kind of brought me this opportunity. And from there, I kind of went on and on. So I would say, even if it's not a formal internship, even some kind of shadowing work or any experience that you can get as early as you can, you know, just to kind of start dabbling in the fields, like I mentioned earlier. I think, you know, it's never too early to start.
Good. That's always there. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that information. The next question that we had was from Shreya Ramesh. And the question is, how were you able to fund your postgraduate studies? It's a great question. And if you don't have a full-time job right after undergrad, how is it possible with the funding and everything? Is there anyone ready to give an answer?
Actually, that was answered during the
okay.
session. This was answered by Harwin, I suppose.
Okay. Well, that's good. The next question was, what were your favorite high school experiences?
I can speak a little bit about that, I guess. So I guess it's along similar lines to Akshaya's experiences. So there was and also there's a lot of like high school organizations that kind of are career focused. So the one that I was part of was TSA, which is the Technology Student Association. So I really enjoyed like my work with that organization. And they did lots of like events across the year, which were kind of like these conferences where you and like other members from your school could all kind of go to like this, go to this big event, and you can compete in a lot of cool like career related events. And for like TSA, a lot of the focus is in technology and engineering. So I was able to kind of explore a lot of different fields in technology just through this one organization. So I really enjoyed that. Like I was able to go to the competitions and try things like music production, which isn't something that you typically see as a technology kind of related field. But that's kind of introduced me to an interesting hobby that I still keep up to this day. And I was also able to do a lot of things like 3D animation, which is not something that is even remotely related to my career now. But kind of dabbling in those fields and seeing how technology can impact almost any domain across the world was really interesting to me. So I very much enjoyed that experience.
Great. Do we have any other questions in the chat room? I don't see any, but if there are, maybe we have time for one more question or something. Jay?
Could I actually also answer that last question, if that's okay?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So we've heard a lot about, a lot of variety of experience from all the panelists and a lot of things that help them personally. I think this is a great question because it's important to sometimes take a step back and just make sure that you are having fun, like Anirudh was saying earlier about the college experience. So what I did, one of the things that I was able to do was with my friends, we'd have this event called Park Friday, where we would go to our neighborhood park and we would just, kick the soccer ball around, throw football around. We would invent our own sport. We'd just be a lot of high school boys running around and screaming. So I think it's important to get that context that, that you are allowed to have fun. First of all, it's important. Okay. It helps you do better at the other, all the other things that you're already busy in doing. But it's important to make sure that you do dedicate some time while maintaining your existing commitments. So it was nice, that we even had like a name for it, and we had a designated day, which was Friday. Okay, this is our one day where we can all spend time together, and let's at least try to make sure that we can commit to this to some frequency. So yeah, you can see we approach it in the same way we approach our normal, work commitments, but maybe that was the fun in it. But,
yeah, that's really good. I mean, you have to keep yourself engaged in some other extracurricular activities to keep you relaxed, and then it lets you focus, come back to your work, and then focus as well. So that's good to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, everyone. Jay, over to you. Do we have a closing speech or?
Sure. Like, is there anyone have any other questions, like from a parent side or any audience side? Is there any other questions left over? We didn't.
Did I miss anyone's question in the chat? I don't see anything that I pending or anything. So. I don't think so. So.
We have one question on YouTube. I'll just post it in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks, Ram.
Okay, I just posted it.
Aishwarya, can you see the question?
Yeah, I just said that. So yeah, this was a question from Ram Prasad, which says, like, we've heard a lot about being flexible and trying various things, but when do we actually need to decide which career path we go or we choose to? This question was asked by Ram Prasad.
Yeah, I can answer that. So I think, generally the answer that you're going to get from a lot of people is that you should be able to, know kind of what you're doing by sophomore year of college, because that's when a lot of colleges have you declare a major, and you kind of use that major to then get internships and get jobs and so on. But the honest answer is, I think it really depends. So some kids know what they want to do in high school and are super focused throughout college, versus some people come in thinking they know what they want to do and then like change a lot later on. And so I think it's not so much about when you should decide as it is kind of constantly having that just like there, like to be thinking about it, right? So to be thinking like, okay, what do I want to do? And having this mindset of exploration. So like, even if you aren't decided coming into college, being able to say like, okay, I might want to be an engineer right now. Let me try it out. And then from there, being able to say like, okay, is this something I want to continue with, or do I want to switch? And kind of knowing that it's not, you don't need to decide immediately. For me, like I said, I was going to go into finance until like my senior year, and then I switched to consulting. And it's not really about like knowing exactly what you want to do ahead of time, but just kind of having that in the back of your mind and trying to find opportunities that can help you out, and being flexible with that.
Okay. So just have a couple of options and then explore and then see whether it fits you or not, or try and keep exploring until you find the right one.
So kind of on that note, I also don't think it's like a one-time decision. So I have friends from law school who've been practicing law for 4 years and decided, you know what, I no longer want to be a lawyer. So they're actually pivoting kind of in their late 20s and early 30s to something else. So I think it's important to kind of be open-minded and know that whatever education you're getting in like college or grad school, it's just equipping you with the tools to make better decisions going forward. And I just don't think it's necessary to put so much pressure on yourself as a high school student or a college student, or even someone in like earlier in their career saying, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. We're all really lucky that we do have the opportunity to try different things out. So I think that's important to keep in mind and know that like, if today you decide I want to be a doctor's probably not a great example, but if I want to be a lawyer, you don't necessarily have to be a lawyer forever. You can always try different things out.
Good to know that. Thank you so much for sharing that information.
And I can chime in too. Let's see. So the question was, when do you actually have to decide what career path we go? So I think the elephant in the room actually is the compensation is an important factor of this decision. So the first thing you should do is decide how much compensation is important to you when picking your job. And I can say personally, if you think it's one of the top 2 reasons for picking your job, I wouldn't do aerospace. If other people have insights on that, they should share it, because I think the main thing you should do is decide how important, how much money you make is important to you.
Okay, that's one factor to consider too.
Yeah, I'll chime in support what Tharani said. I think people will tell you all the time in high school and college that you have to decide by a certain time that you need to know what you want to do. I think that's like absolutely not true. I know lots and lots of people who have changed their mind several times about what major they want. They changed their mind about what college they went to. They changed their mind about what major they wanted to study. They changed their mind about what sort of career they wanted. I know people in medical school who decided that medical school isn't right for them. I know people in residency who decided that a different residency was better for them. So it literally is never too late to change your mind and go into a different profession. I think you should try to make up your mind as early as possible, but understand that like if you have doubts, you should not feel obligated to stay in a profession or a career path that you're not happy in just because you feel like it's too late to switch. You can always find a way to switch later. There will always be people out there to help you to do that.
Okay.
Worst case, you just go to business school.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. This is, I'm speaking as someone who changed their major literally before their senior year. So, it added on an extra semester of school, but that's how long it took for me to realize what I initially came in doing was not what I saw myself doing post-college. And even now, when I think about supply chain, like I can't say that's something I intend on doing for the rest of my life. So I don't think there should be a whole lot of pressure on putting a timeline on it. As many people have said, like, yeah, try to make your mind up as soon as you can, but know that you're not limited to what you study. Like there are plenty of people who get jobs and things that are completely unrelated to what they studied in college. So I would focus more on, if you do find your interest later in life, figure out how you can get there, rather than trying to put a lot of pressure on yourself to have that answer by a certain time.
That's good. That's good to know. The next question that we have is from Punguri, who asks, like, what do companies need from students for internships? Like, what do they look for from the internship students?
I guess I could tackle this a little bit. So I guess like this varies on whether you're asking about like what companies look for when you're applying versus like what they look for during the actual internship. I guess I'll go a little bit of both. I would say for application, it really just depends on like when you're applying and what role you're applying for. For like early like internships, like if you're going for a high school internship, usually in my experience, those companies are looking for students who are willing to just learn and kind of like complete like tasks that may not be like essential to like function at the company, but they'd be like an interesting experience. Whereas a lot of like later internships that you might do during your senior year of college, the companies will basically be scouting you out as a potential full-time employee. And so that's something that that's like what I experienced when I was interning at Amazon last summer. And that goes so far as to the point where they pretty much tell you on the last day of your internship whether or not they're considering moving you forward for full-time. So that's kind of what like companies look for like during like the internship. But like, you know, the same thing goes for like what you would kind of need to like have on your resume, I guess, to get an internship at these different like stages. You know, obviously in high school, just having like a basic kind of skill set of like what you're interested in doing and kind of like the willingness to learn, I think is probably one of the more important things. But as you get like, you know, higher and higher and keep going on like closer to like your senior year of college, internships will progressively start looking for more experience and more kind of like a formalized education in what you'll be pursuing.
Right, true. Thank you so much. I think we have one more question here, which says like, what advice would you like to give for the graduates who are coming out of this currently the COVID situation? Like, are there any institutions that provide any help? What would you like to give a piece of advice to these graduates?
I just, you know, I want to affirm like you will be okay no matter what. I know this is a rocky situation for a lot of people. People's jobs offers have been rescinded in some cases, or it's harder to just find a job, but you will be okay. Like, you know, the situation will evolve and you'll find ways to adapt to it. And I would just encourage you to be optimistic and to keep going.
Perfect. Perfectly put. Thank you so much. Any other questions that we have? Jay, would you like to say anything, add on to the discussion that we have?
If anyone have any questions, like we can ask now, otherwise like we'll go and conclude the event. The last chance for any of the audience, like you can ask your question.
I mean, I still say them as kids, but they're really amazing. The experience that they share, we see them growing from a high school to a college to young professionals. It's really amazing to see all this hard work and they're being successful in life and sharing their information, which would definitely help all the students who are parents and kids who are listening to our panel here.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Like proud to see all these kids very successful, and then all their hard work got paid now. Like thanks for all the panelists who come and join today and shared all your knowledge. It's a wealth. You shared all the wealth, like knowledge to the next set of students. They are trying to do something in their life, right? So really good. So I'll go back to my original language. So, I'll go back to my original language. Before conclude the event, I would like to call Pungodi, the youth coordinator, come and say a few words. Pungodi, vaanga.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Pungodi.
Hi. Actually, it's very great. Very useful things, everything, and very helpful for my kids also. So he's also part of this meeting, and so ellaru romba nalla pesnanga. It's all the kids are awesome. Actually, it's a great effort and proud to hear and part of this. So actually, this is a great opportunity for the this actually GATS is giving a great opportunity. எல்லா பேனலிஸ்டுக்கும் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணதுக்கு. அண்ட் தேவி மோரோவர் யூ ஆர் ஆசம் ஆக்சுவலி, சூப்பர், அண்ட் இட்ஸ் வெரி யூஸ்ஃபுல் அண்ட் தட்ஸ் இட்டுங்க. தேங்க்யூ. அண்ட் ஜெய், ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸுங்க ஜெய்.
நன்றி நன்றி. இது நம்மளுடைய கடமை, இது நம்மளுடைய கடமை. அடுத்த கட்டத்துக்கு செல்ல இருக்கின்றோம். இந்த இருந்த பெற்றோர்கள் யாராவது வந்து உங்களுடைய பதிவுகளை சொல்ல வேண்டும் என்றால் நீங்கள் சொல்லலாம். Any of the parents from the parents side, they can come and say some few words.
I'm a parent myself. I wish.
No, from the panelist. So நானே கால் பண்ணலாம்னு இருக்கேன். வரலையானா நான் ஜோஷ் பிரபு, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சவங்களை மட்டும் நான் கூப்பிடுறேன். சாரி டு சே தட். எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச சில பெற்றோர்கள் இருக்கார். விஜயகுமார் கண்டபடி இருக்காரா பாருங்க, இல்லாட்டி கூப்பிடுவாங்க அவரை. ஜோயல், and then Anita parent, Adesh, Suresh.
Hello, Jay.
Yes, come.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I mean, I'm
totally blown away by the expertise of the panelists. I mean, their experiences and the success what they have achieved so far. I'm really in awe of their the collective panels experience out here actually. What I would like to see is as the panelists grow professionally, I would like them to give back to the society and do volunteering work and some charitable work and stuff. You could take a page out of Devi Selvakumar's book. I mean, I have known her for about 20 years now, and she is one of the most dedicated, hardworking person who volunteers a lot. She has given back to the community a lot. So you can learn from what she does. I mean, she is an extremely hardworking person. She has never, I've never seen her sitting idly doing things for herself. She's always for the society. So yeah, you could think about doing for the society, give back to society. And for Jay, I mean, he's a good friend, and so that the next set of people, when they are coming out, they get some, they get to use your experiences and the panel's experience, and that would help them look for the job and how to get into the marketplace looking for jobs and stuff. So thank you for doing that, and I wish to wish all the panelists a great success in your future. So with that, I'll take leave. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Suresh, Ganesh Pandey. Vijay Gandapodi vandirukkaranga. Vaanga Ganda Vijay.
Hi Jay, it was a very good show. It was pretty well done. Very impressed with all these kids. Like others said, I was them pretty small. Like Raja and all, I know when they were like 7 years old. So nice to see all of them giving their experiences. Thanks to GATS for organizing this event. It will be very useful for the students who are going into the college. Being an academic now, I can understand how the parents will be utilizing this program. So again, thanks for GATS. Thanks to all the panel members who gave their experience. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. வேற யாராவது பெற்றோர்கள் இருக்கின்றார்களா? நிகழ்ச்சியின் விளிம்பில் இருக்கின்றோம். வேற யாருக்காவது பெற்றோருக்கு எதனா பதிவுகள் இல்லை என்றால் கார்த்திக் நாதன் இல்லை, தருணி, ஜெயராமன், அனிதா, Anjali Kumar, Anirudh, any of your parents want to say something? ஓகே, நன்றி. கிரேட்டர் அட்லாண்டா தமிழ் சங்கம் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிகளை செய்ய வேண்டும் என்று முனைப்போடு இருந்தபோது எங்களுக்கு உறுதுணையாக இருந்தது தேவி அவர்கள். ஸோ தேவி அவர்கள் எங்களுடைய யூத் கமிட்டி பூங்கொடி கூட சேர்ந்து இந்த கோஆர்டினேஷன் பண்ணதெல்லாம் மிகவும் அருமையான விஷயம். அதற்கான என்னுடைய நன்றிகளும் வாழ்த்துக்களும் சொல்லிக் கொள்கின்றேன். டெக்னிக்கல் டீம் வேணும் இல்லையா இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி பண்றதுக்கு? we need a technical team, right? Technical team, Mahendran and Ram Prasad, you can come in a video. Ram Prasad and Mahendran, இவர்களுக்கு என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள்.
Thank you, sir.
நன்றிகள், மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். 2-3 விஷயங்களை சொல்லி நிகழ்ச்சியை நிறைவு பெற விழைகின்றேன். ஸோ இந்த காலம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்கு. டைம் அப்படின்ட்டு சொல்லுவார்கள். இந்த காலம் மிகவும் பொன் போன்றது. இந்த காலத்தை சரியான முறையில் பயன்படுத்துகின்றவர்கள் இந்த வாழ்க்கையில் முன்னேறி கொண்டே இருப்பார்கள் என்ற ஒரு விடயம் இந்த radically it got proved, right? ஸோ இந்த காலத்தின் அருமை எப்படி தெரிய வேண்டும் என்றால், ஒரு மாணவன் வருடம் முழுவதும் படிக்கின்றான், 2 மதிப்பெண்கள் குறைவாக பெற்று தேர்வில் தோல்வி பெறுகின்றான். அவனுக்கு தெரியும் அந்த ஒரு வருடத்தின் மதிப்பு என்ன என்னவென்று. தன்னுடைய குழந்தையை சுமக்கின்றால் 10 மாதத்துக்கு தெரியும் அந்த தாய்க்கு இந்த 10 மாதத்தின் மரியாதை அவளுக்கு நன்றாக தெரியும். ஒரு மாதத்தின் வலிமை, அந்த ஒரு மாதம் முழுவதும் சம்பாதித்து விட்டு தன்னுடைய குடும்பத்தை காப்பாற்ற இருக்கின்றானே அவனுக்கு தெரியும். ஒரு நாள் வேலை செய்கின்றவன் அன்று முழுவதும் வேலை செய்து விட்டு தன் குடும்பத்தை காப்பாற்ற வேண்டும், தன் குழந்தைகளுக்கு உணவு கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று செல்கின்றானே அவனுக்கு தெரியும் அந்த ஒரு நாளின் வலிமை. இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஆழமாக நம்ம செல்ல இருக்கின்றோம் என்றால், ஓட்டப்பந்தயத்தில் ஓடி வினாடிகளில் தோற்கின்றானே வெள்ளி பதக்கம் வாங்கி, அவனுக்கு தெரியும் அந்த நொடிகளின் வலிமை என்னவென்று. இந்த காலத்தினால் செய்த உதவி சிறிதெனினும் ஞாலத்தில் மானப் பெரிது என்று சொல்கின்றார்கள். இந்த உலகத்தில் நீங்கள் எல்லாம் வந்து இந்த நேரத்தில இந்த உதவி இந்த தமிழ் சங்க மக்களுக்கும் ஜாதி மதம் எதுவும் பாராமல், இனம் பாராமல், காக்கை குருவி எங்கள் ஜாதி என்று சொன்னானே பாரதியார், அது மாதிரிதான். இட்ஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி ஃபார் தமிழ், இட்ஸ் ஃபார் எவ்ரி ஒன், ரைட்? அப்படிதான் பண்ணி இருக்கின்றோம் என்று. இந்த விஷயம் மிகவும் இந்த தமிழ் சங்கத்திலே போற்றக்கூடிய விஷயம். நீங்களாம் ஏன் வந்து இன்னைக்கு இந்த விஷயங்களை சொல்லுகின்றீர்கள் அப்படின்றதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் நான் சொல்றேன். திருவள்ளுவர் சொல்லியிருக்காரு. என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காரு? தாமுன் புருவது உலகின் புறக்கண்டு காமொருவர் கற்றறிந்தார் அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. யார் இவங்கெல்லாம்? படித்தவர்கள் தான் மட்டும் சந்தோஷமாக இல்லாமல் மற்றவர்களையும் சந்தோஷமாக வைப்பார்கள். இதைத்தான் இந்த பேனலிஸ்ட் இன்று செய்திருக்கின்றார்கள். நீங்கள் செய்த விஷயம் மிகவும் கடமை. நீங்கள் சேர்த்து வைத்த அந்த நாலேஜ் என்று சொல்கிறார்களே, அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயங்களை இன்று அடுத்த குழந்தைகளுக்கெல்லாம் நீங்கள் பரிமாறி இருக்கின்றீர்கள். இதற்காக கிரேட் அட்லாண்டா தமிழ் சங்கத்தின் மூலமாக மிகவும் கடமைப்பட்டு இருக்கின்றோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி, இது போன்ற நிகழ்ச்சிகள் தொடர்ந்து நடைபெற்றே கொண்டிருக்கும். இந்த வருடம் நிறைய விஷயங்கள், கல்வி சார்ந்த விஷயங்கள், இலக்கியம் சார்ந்த விஷயங்கள், அறிவு சார்ந்த விஷயங்கள், கொடை சார்ந்த விஷயங்கள் செய்து கொண்டே இருக்கின்றோம். இதுக்கெல்லாம் உறுதுணையாக இருக்கின்ற, எந்த எதிர்பார்ப்பும் பாராமல் வேலை செய்கின்ற தன்னார்வ தொண்டர்களுக்கு கிரேட்டர் அட்லாண்டா தமிழ் சங்கத்தின் சார்பாக மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகளை கூறி, மாலை வணக்கங்களை கூறி உங்களிடத்திலிருந்து விடைபெறுகின்றேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம். Devi, you want to say some few words?
Kandipa. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. First of all, when Jay, you have expressed, I know how we started, how these ideas, when we brainstormed the ideas, how we wanted to help the middle school students, and then moving on to the high school students, and then we wanted to help the college students. So we just moved on every week from covering different sessions. And the beautiful thing is, what I'm seeing is, learning from these younger kids, from the young professionals. We talked with the young college students, and then now we are talking to the young professionals. And so for those, for my panelists, who don't speak in Tamil, I just want to translate what, Jay Uncle has said. So what he has said is, the knowledge that you all have, you are beautifully sharing with everyone. So that is a wonderful thing. That is a very a wonderful thing. Not only you are benefiting out of it, you are just benefiting the whole society. So that is the biggest service that you can do to the community. And also, I would like to greatly thank Suresh. Like he said, we have been family friends for quite some time, and we all need to step into our second phase in life, of which you all are doing, and reach out to the community and trying to help. And thank you to all the panelists. So when I approached them, I know some of you were not even in Atlanta, and some of you were working. And so in spite of all your commitments, in spite of all your busy work, so thank you so much for giving back to the community, and sharing your knowledge with us. We learned quite a bit from you all. And like Suresh said, I am in an awe. You are just leaving me completely awestruck that we have to take a lot of information from you all, and moving on. So a lot of kids will be benefited from this. And thank you, Jay, for arranging some wonderful programs, a lot of educational programs, like you said, like Ram was saying earlier. So during this time, difficult time, we are not letting this situation win over us. We are just making use of the best opportunity that is given to us, and we are trying to educate the community. And Anita has said very beautifully, one of the panelists have said very beautifully, don't even get panic, just move on. You'll be okay. You'll be completely okay. So with that message, thank you so much once again, and my humble and great thanks to all my panelists.
Sure. Thank you, Devi. Thank you. Any of the panelists, they want to share, like what you feel today? while you're talking? I mean, any of the panelists, anybody can say a few words.
I just want to thank my mom for this opportunity. That's all.
Sure.
Yeah, Jay, let me add to this one. This also benefits the panelists. As I had put in my FB, like it took me after my doctorate to be part of a lot of panelists, but this is exposure for them, which you guys are given to them. This will break the ice for some of them to speak in the panel.
Yeah, definitely, yes. That's the idea behind this. So Adarsh, you want to say something?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, thanks, Devianti, for the experience, and yeah, had a lot of fun.
Sure. Thank you, Adarsh. Anita or Anjali, Akshaya?
Yeah, big thank you to Devianti and GATS, overall for giving us the opportunity to speak. Like I mentioned before, GATS, I grew up as a kid GATS and, growing up with GATS, my whole life in Atlanta. So I'm very paying back and, being there to help anyone in the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, also, thank you, Devianti. It was actually so great to hear from you. It's been so long, so I'm really glad we got this opportunity to reconnect. But I'm also shocked at how little I remember from high school. That question really caught me off guard, and I realized that I guess it's been a really long time, and I have virtually no memory of high school anymore.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Devianti, for organizing this. I really appreciate it. I think it's a great way to give back, and I wish I'd known about stuff like this in high school, because I think it's just so beneficial to learn from everyone and hear about everyone else's experiences.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Devianti. Really appreciate your hard work for this, because I think it probably helps some parents feel a little bit more at ease during this time when they don't know what to do and their kids don't know what to do either. But like Anita said, it's going to be all right.
Thank you, Anjali.
Yeah, along those lines, yeah. Thanks, Devianti, for organizing something like this. I can say for sure that when I was in high school or college, I definitely would have loved to see something like this to kind of reassure me that everything's going to be okay. So I'm really glad that I was able to, I was given this opportunity to be able to take part in helping other people kind of feel that way and helping encourage others to kind of keep on learning and keep on just exploring the things that they might want to do in the future.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Devianti as well. It's a great panel to organize. If anyone had any questions that they weren't comfortable asking, sort of in front of the bigger audience, Devianti has all of our email addresses. So if you can send it to her, she can forward it to us, and we can get in touch with you to answer any more sort of personal situation questions.
Yeah, I'll second that recommendation. And again, thanks for doing this. It's super useful. And personally, I can't imagine being in college in this kind of situation. I might even say I'm lucky I'm not. I think if you enjoy what you do and you're good at what you do, it doesn't matter what's going on, you'll find a place and you'll be happy. So best of luck.
Thank you. Okay, with all these comments, we'll conclude this session. A lot of information. Thanks a lot. Once again, thanks a lot for all the panelists, Devi, and then our youth team. Great Ratla Tamil Sangathil மூலமாக உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய மாலை வணக்கங்களை கூறி விடைபெறுகின்றோம். நன்றி வணக்கம்.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks everybody.
Ram, live stop பண்ணிக்கலாம்.